Electronic Resource Kit by Jack Butland. I have chosen to include the following resources into my electronic resource kit as they correspond with my teaching objectives in the near future. By accumulating and breaking down these resources in depth, I am able to discuss each concept confidently as I have found them interesting and applicable to a classroom setting. Resources: Maslow's hierarchy of motivation, fostering a growth mindset, constructivism learning theory, the roles of learning spaces, and diversity. Resource 1: Maslow's hierarchy of motivation. Maslow's hierarchy of motivation is a pyramid that outlines 5 stages of basic human needs. However, it is not until the previous need is met that the individual can move up through the pyramid. In a nutshell, Maslow's theory suggests that individuals are motivated to fulfill the needs that are lacking in their life based on their own circumstances. For example, an individual with no food is motivated to obtain food. Another example, if an individual is not feeling any love, they are motivated to obtain love and belonging. It is quite true that man lives by bread alone, when there is no bread. But what happens to man's desires when there is plenty of bread and when his belly is chronically filled? Maslow, 1943. To bring this quote back to a classroom level, if a student has minimal clothing, poor health, and a lack of social stability, their motivation is limited and does not allow them any chance to learn. But if a student feels welcome, given a caring opportunity to create friends, and is encouraged to maintain a healthy lifestyle, the overall motivation of the student evolves. Resource 2: Fostering a growth mindset. Individuals with a fixed mindset believe that their intelligence is simply an inborn trait. They have a certain amount and that's that. In contrast, individuals with a growth mindset believe they can develop their intelligence over time. So, what are the key benefits of a growth mindset? 1. Students can use challenges as an opportunity to grow, develop, and learn. 2. Students are able to value effort and are inclined to work harder. 3. In a classroom setting, all students feel they're equal and no one is superior. 4. Students are more inclined to try new strategies and continue rather than give up. 5. This allows for social learning to occur as students can continually learn relevant ideas and strategies from peers that are on the same level. 6. Boosts self-esteem and confidence in one's own ability. 7. Students are able to socialize effectively with students of similar intelligence. Resource 3: Learning theories. The learning theories incorporated in the classroom set the tone of how you as a teacher want your students to work and learn effectively. Personally, the main learning theory that has appealed to me the most is constructivism. Despite being quite a unique concept, what interests me the most is the way that constructivism can be used in a range of ways and settings to address physical, social, intellectual, and emotional development. Also, this learning theory allows for great diversity, as each student can express their views based on their own real life experiences. As a teacher is simply a facilitator, students are required to learn collaboratively, which I feel is the best way to effectively boost retention. Overview of constructivism. Constructivism is a learning theory that I find quite extremely interesting, as it focuses on enhancing an individual's ability to gather and digest relevant information from their own personal and unique experiences. Upon greater understanding and study of the concept, educators are adopting this mindset a lot more frequently in classrooms, as they are realizing that their students learn more efficiently when they are energetically attached to a new idea. By creating a setting packed with various ideas and excitement, all students are able to become actively involved in their learning, and teachers are simply facilitators to the process. This allows students to open up and give a great insight into their interests and views in the classroom. However, this theory can be used outside of the common classroom in practical areas such as physical education, art, and music, as it allows for personal creativity and overall development. From previous personal experiences, I've witnessed the impact that creativity in the classroom can create. However, due to the laziness in some teachers, this theory is not even considered, as it can be too hard to manage. As a result, these lazy teachers have inspired me to use this theory in the future to create environments that they wouldn't, as the end products are hugely satisfying. The structured chaos in the classroom was responsible for some excellent sessions in which information was truly shared and knowledge individually constructed. Bollinger, 2006, page 123. Resource 4. The roles of learning spaces. The main idea of a learning space or classroom is to create an environment that allows for people to succeed. It is up to the teacher to design an area that enables all students to develop their skills through active participation. Having firstly decided the learning theory I want to focus on is constructivism, as a teacher, I am ultimately responsible to ensure the classroom is planned out effectively based on how I want my students to learn. Firstly, have a look at the first three photos positioned at the bottom of the screen. For example, if I was to organise a classroom like this, I would be unable to facilitate my students throughout their individual learning. These settings are similar to what I experienced at school, and I found that students end up reciting facts rather than retaining information relevant to their learning. Resource 5. Diversity. Students are different, some are good athletes, others are popular. Some have a good idea of their strengths and weaknesses, others have no clue. O'Donnell, 185 to 233. Having discussed the importance of viewing diversity in a positive light rather than as a restriction in the classroom, I've been able to realise the benefits it can have. From a teacher's perspective, when addressing diversity, it is essential to create an environment that exposes the many strengths rather than weaknesses. At times, classroom activities and exercises may need to be altered to suit appropriate needs, but in a way that encourages participation rather than hindering it. The challenge is to acknowledge, respect, and work with the differences in children in order to maximize academic, social, and emotional growth in each child.